Isekai.
The Rebirth of the Malicious Empress of Military Lineage. Chapter 49. In the silence, the fruit's appearance was like the largest sarcasm that was reflected on Kai Lin's scratched face filled with fearful tears, as he looks at Shen Miao standing still, full of indifference. She kept the bow, and bent over to pick up the fallen fruit before looking at Kai Lin, and laughed. "You have lost." She originally looked delicate, and from the beginning to the end was overly quiet that made others ignore her age. Now with a laugh, there were traces of naivety in her looks. Everyone looked carefully, and felt that even if she was stupid in the beginning, she was not anymore. This little young lady looked bright, and there were traces of gracefulness in her beauty. Kai Lin could not say a single word, and there were traces of blood still on his face that has not been wiped away. The tears that trickled down were mixed with those blood traces, making his entire face red, and looking like a sorry figure. At that moment, he did not care about any reputation, and just looked at Shen Miao, with eyes full of fear. Shen Miao's brows raised. It seemed that he finally knew what was fear. It is good that he was afraid. Killing the chicken to warn the monkeys. In the future all these snakes, worms, rats, and insects around her would then know not to go beyond their boundaries. The servants supported Kai Lin, whose legs were scared weak, down the stage. The responsible examiner walked over to Shen Miao's side, and asked in surprise as he saw the fruit that the arrow pierced through. "Young Lady Shen practiced archery in the past." Not only the aim was good, and the strength to pull the bow needed to be constant. Shen Miao, a delicate and pretty young lady, could pull it off so skillfully, and in that last shot, everyone could see that Kai Lin fell scared, whereas Shen Miao was still able to shoot the fruit even in the situation when Kai Lin was moving. This was surprising. Practice before? Shen Miao slightly tilted her head, and got caught up with her thoughts. That was during her first year as a hostage in Qin country. The imperial family of Qin, regardless if it was the princesses or prince, all loved to humiliate her, and seeing her an empress suffering such insults, was an extremely interesting thing. Unfortunately, she could not get angry about it as at that time Qin country was lending troops to Mingqi. Those princesses and princes invented a new way of playing, and it was like the rules that Kai Lin set in the academy examinations, changing it to humans to hold the fruit. When she was wearing the target, they would deliberately mess up her hair or destroy her clothes with the arrows, even occasionally injure her arms, neck, or likewise, and she could only endure it. At that time, she would always be in her own house every night carefully erecting a target, and practicing hard. She imagined those people who had harmed her before as targets, and with her serious practice and effort, she was able to shoot with unfailing accuracy. But, during the day, when it was her turn to shot, she would still deliberately miss it or pretend to be unable to pull the bow apart. There was no choice as she was staying in another house, and she needed to lower her head. She had to survive to return to Mingqi to meet Wan Yu and Fu Ming. That kind of hard work lasted for an entire year. Now that Kai Lin mentioned it, it suddenly made her return to those days of humiliation. Now, there was no one else that has a handle on her, so naturally, she could kill, if she wanted, and shoot, if she wanted. Not being restricted in living, whoever that provoked her, she would get back to them, viciously. The Kai family dared to speak about Shenzhen. She will make them shut their mouth in fear. This was then, what she should have done. She smiled slightly. Had seen eldest brother practice diligently in the courtyard. After seeing so many times, one would follow suit, and did not think that one would succeed with a lucky stroke. This made the Kai husband and wife extremely furious. Their son, who would usually get the first rank in archery, was not able to shoot the target at all today, and was even made a fool in front of everyone. Shen Miao only said that she had followed suit and pulled the bow for the first time, and she was able to hit the fruit target. What kind of silly thing was this? Pa. Melodious claps were heard, and everyone looked back to see Prince Yu clapping his hands. It was indeed not bad. She took a glance at him, but did not make a sound. The examiner said, "For the topic on archery, is there anyone else who wants to challenge?" Naturally, Shen Miao was considered the winner of this match, and the others could come up to challenge her. If no one challenged, then Shen Miao would be the first rank without any qualms. Hearing this sentence, Shen Yu's expression looked ugly in a short moment. This was the first examination that she was completely overshadowed by Shen Miao. She looked at Fu Ziyu, who was talking to Prince Zhu and Prince Jing from afar, and she tightly clasped her hands, relaxed. She could not help but curse that useless Kai Lin in her heart. But at the next moment, someone from the arena shouted, "I want to challenge Shen Miao." In the male side of the banquet, there stood a youth. This person looked around 16 to 17 years old, and looked not bad. Unfortunately, that pair of eyes were unable to conceal, and revealed shrewdness that even if the tone of voice was filled with modesty, it made one feel that it was a hypocritical act. With only one look, Shen Miao knew who this person was. She felt that it was somewhat funny in her heart, as this was the Marquis of Lin and Shu's son, Zi Jingxing's Shu brother, the second young master, Zi Changwu. This person does not have other abilities, but was very slick and sly. In the official circles, one must have a slick and sly attitude, and must know how to butter up others. Afterward, when the entire Zi family collapsed, this pair of Shu sons and Madame Feng relied on the new emperor's compensation to the Zi family to live comfortably, and Zi Changwu and his younger brother, Zi Changzhou, even became officers in court. At that time, she disliked these two brothers because the Shu brothers of the Zi family stood at Mai Furen's side, and were in a good relationship with Fu Sheng, and even often helped Fu Sheng to suppress Fu Ming. The reason behind Shen Miao's reminder for Zi Jingxing to find an opportunity to eradicate his own Shu brothers was because she was brooding about the events that happened in her past life. These two people cannot stay alive, as they would only be hated. Today she had not yet taken her revenge here, but they had taken the initiative to step forward. But whatever for? She looked at Master Kai's seat, and seeing Master Kai's serious face, Zi Changzhou seemed to have soothed him. That is right. Recently, the two Zi brothers were preparing to seek a job under Kai Darren, and have always taken the initiative to approach Kai Lin. Unfortunately, Kai Lin only wanted to get along with Zi Jingxing, and did not pay any attention to the two brothers. But was not today a good opportunity? One had to know that in her past life, at the end of this year, she successfully forced Fu Ziyu to marry her, while Zi Changwu and Zi Changzhou became Kai Darren's subordinates. Afterward, 2 years later, the Kai family was embroiled in a corruption case, and all their possessions were confiscated, and the entire clan was exterminated. Many things had changed, but many did not. As to those that have changed, the outcome had yet to be seen if it changed. The two Zi family brothers want to use this method to fawn the Kai family, and sweep her reputation to the floor. Just as Shen Miao was about to answer, suddenly there was a sudden voice that prodded out. That voice was somewhat lazy, and filled with unassailable ridicule. "You do not practice with this older brother on normal days at home, but, now challenged a little girl. Zi Changwu, the more you live the more backward your turn. Zi Jingxing appeared on the stage, as he folded his arms, and looked at his two momentarily stunned Shu younger brothers with a smile, but, yet not a smile. How about me, challenging both of you? Let me discipline you, younger brothers, to not learn to be useless scoundrels, and be a disgrace outside by fighting with females. He gave a glance at Shen Miao again, and said, you can withdraw.